Ghoulies, here we are once again at Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, and of course, Christmas is unstoppable now. It's December 1st. Lovecraft's in the house with Mariella.
You know, Doctor, I figured out a way that... I know, that sounds awful, doesn't it? I'm not thinking of it as Christmas at all. I'm thinking of it simply as Yule. And if you avoid the music and all that other nonsense, it's Yule. And you know, you're putting a dead tree in your house, which is kind of metal, according to Metalocalypse.
Pagan Christmas.
Yeah, so I can kind of get into it.
Well, Christianity has tried to get rid of the pagans for many years, and they're really losing the battle now with things like Yuletide and Festivus, and of course Krampus.
They're saying actually that there's a huge rise in the Wiccan population in America with a decline in the Christian population.
Well, I imagine so, but things are crazy these days. People were ragging on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They were upset. They said that the kid the elf that wants to be a dentist, that's wrong because of his obsession. And then they said that Santa was bullying Rudolph and wouldn't let him be in the with the reindeer. He had to cover his nose and all this thing. And I was just simply like, no, Santa was crabby. He was skinny. Remember?
Yeah.
He was kind of a crabby Santa.
Eat, Santa, eat.
That was the thematic building blocks for that whole thing for a kid's story, and it would show that a kid that might have felt like an outsider actually had redemption by the end. And they're saying, well, Rudolph didn't do anything wrong. I don't know. He didn't want to wear his nose cover. I don't know. Poor Rudolph. But yeah, they're even getting down on that. And I was kind of like, in 1964 when they made this, they weren't pussyfooting around with a kid's classic.
If we made everything politically correct in our films, there would be no plot.
Well, it's just interesting that, and then some other fans there are of all sorts of everything from anime to horror and how seriously they... Adults are having a conversation about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoon.
Oh,
and I'm like, well... I know.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah,
I'm not on social media.
This is ridiculous. But it's a different time, and now everything that was reflecting the time that it was created in has now got to be thrown away. Books, no more killing the mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird has been banned, I think, from schools, and that was always common reading when we were growing up.
It was one of my favorite required readings, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's crazy, and yeah.
I did that when I was in a play for it.
And I think it did me a lot of good.
It's an extremely educational story.
Exactly, but picking on poor Rudolph. I mean, think about it. I mean, even the Bumble, the snow beast, he gets redemption at the end. He's accepted. Everybody's accepted, and
everybody
it's a
gets
warm,
their
fuzzy
dreams. Yeah, it's not that.
When Nightmare Before Christmas had first come out, a friend of mine in Chicago, and I asked him about that. Oh no, nothing ever really worked out for him, and it just... And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Don't you see the fact that Jack Skellington, he actually succeeded in bringing the feeling, because all his creatures in his Halloween Town, they weren't getting it until Santa flew over and spread his magic at the end. So again, the movie, all the characters are kind of find their path, and of course Jack and Sally, they get together, and that's it. So
and Halloween is revived. He refines his love for Halloween.
Right.
There's a lot of good things in that movie.
It's a classic.
Yeah, that was a classic. But I remember when it wasn't even a thing. And I saw some early pictures. When I saw early pictures of the Nightmare Before Christmas characters, the design to it really threw me off. It was unusual at the time. It was almost like, probably people that thought, saw German Expressionism back in the day. It was a weird feeling looking at those characters and the design. And I remember being pretty kind of creeped out in the opening sequence of Nightmare Before Christmas, just because of the design of the characters. So, interesting stuff here. But we've got a great movie tonight, one of the building blocks of the entire horror genre that would follow at Universal. The Old Dark House. It's directed by James Whale. James Whale, directed the original Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and of course... Bride of Frankenstein was probably the pinnacle of all Universal horror films.
Yeah.
But he's not holding back here. He's got Ernest Thesiger, who was the Dr. Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein. That's a field joy. Gloria Stewart is also in this. She was in Invisible Man. She's the lady in the movie Titanic that they bring her out to the ocean and find her, what was it, a necklace?
Oh, the necklace. Oh, I didn't actually know that one.
So we even have a Jack Rose, Jack Rose, Jack Rose, Jack Rose kind of moment. I hate it when that happens.
It's going to be a great time.
It is going to be a great time. And of course, I've got to tell you, Boris Karloff's in the movie. And Karloff, he really wasn't big on doing it. He did do it, but it was after Frankenstein. Of course, there's a bit of a paragraph at the. They wanted to make it clear that this was the Karloff that played Frankenstein in this film, and of course, to bring attention to this one, because they had him buried under enough makeup where people might not have recognized him a little bit. And there's a little bit of riffraff in this character. That was taken from this movie a little bit. Old Rocky Horror. I've been visiting that a lot. I was like starving for something to watch. And suddenly I came across a DVD of Salome's Last Dance that I didn't even know that I had.
Oh, what a fantastic find.
And that actor, it didn't have any credits, but the actor that actually plays Oscar Wilde in that movie also plays Finney.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Hey, Ralph, can we show Salome's Last Dance? No!
Come on, please, it's my favorite movie. It's not fair.
No, it isn't.
Ken Russell's an amazing director.
You have to see that one. Ken Russell. It's a Ken Russell film. He did Lair of the White Worm, in a movie called Gothic.
I actually plan to get the Salome tattoo of her holding John the Baptist's head on a platter.
Bring me the head of John the Baptist and get right into it now. That's right. The Old Dark House on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater.
For?
I'm stopping for a rest.
Really, Philip, you can't stop here. For pity's sake, either go on or go back. You can't expect me to spend the night like a half-drowned rat on a mountainside.
It's better to stop and drive the car gently over a cliff, isn't it?
Well, it won't help things, losing your temper.
I've never been in a better temper in my life. I love driving 100 miles through the dark, practically without headlights. I love the trickle of ice-cold water pouring down my neck. This is one of the happiest moments of my life.
Would you like me to drive for a bit?
Yes, I was expecting that.
Oh, I shall be glad when we get to Shrewsbury.
If we get to Shrewsbury.
Do you happen to have any idea where we are?
I haven't the least idea in the world.
That's very comforting.
You all right, Pendrell?
Fine. Where are we?
We don't know. We've lost our way. We're somewhere in the Welsh Mountains. It's 9:30, and I'm very sorry.
Don't mention it.
It's 10 to 1. We don't see Shrewsbury tonight.
Oh, well, never mind. Oh, Mr. Waverton, what shall I do? I wanted to go to Shrewsbury, but they took me on to Crewe. As a matter of fact, taking one thing with another, I'm not particularly sure that I want to go to Shrewsbury. As far as that goes, I don't particularly want to go anywhere. Something might happen here, but nothing ever happens in Shrewsbury.
Something certainly might happen here.
Well, I'll tell you something that might happen. I don't want to frighten Mrs. Waverton.
Go on, Mr. Pendle. I'm not easily frightened.
Aren't you? I am. Well, I was just going to say, we'll have to be a bit careful.
Don't stop!
How can I help stopping? Do you think we're in a motorboat?
Stuck for the night. Stuck for the night.
Mr. Pendle, please!
Sorry.
Do you think we'll do it?
I really don't know.
Bon voyage.
Well, now, for heaven's sake, stop! Let's look at a map or something.
My own view is we're not on a map.
Oh, you look, Philip. I can't see anything. It's all a stupid puddle.
Seems to represent this country very well. Everything here is underwater.
Oh, just drive on. We'll arrive somewhere, sometime.
Yes, I suppose that's all we can do.
Singing in the bathtub. Like a bellcat. Never take a shower.
Oh, look, Phil. Lights, lights. Pull in there.
Probably wisest to push on.
Well, I'm for staying here.
There you are. The whole hilltop has probably fallen off.
Is there anybody there? Said the traveler.
Knock again, louder.
I should have thought that was loud enough to wake the dead. That's an idea.
What is?
Wouldn't it be dramatic? Supposing the people inside were dead, all stretched out with the lights quietly burning about them.
I'm sure it would be very amusing.
I'm sure I could do with a drink. If people have to be soaked, they should be soaked inside, not out.
Listen.
What is it?
Well, I heard something.
Good evening. We've come to ask for shelter. We've lost our way. We're absolutely cut off. Don't you understand? We can't go forward and we can't go back. The road's blocked on both sides. Landslide. Even Welsh ought not to sound like that.
My name is Fim. Horace Fim.
How do you do? I'm very sorry to break in on you like this. My name is Waverton. May I introduce my wife?
How do you do?
Kendall.
Charmed, I'm sure.
How do you do?
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
My sister was on the point of arranging these flowers.
I don't know if your man explained the situation to you.
He did his best, but I'm afraid I couldn't understand him. You see, Morgan is dumb.
Oh, I see. Of course, I didn't realize. We saw your lights and wondered if you'd be kind enough to give us shelter for the night. You see, it's quite impossible to go on.
I see. How awkward. How very awkward.
What is it? What do they want?
Allow me to introduce my sister, Miss Rebecca Fem.
How do you do?
What are they doing here? What do they want?
How do you do?
What do they say? What do they want? What are they doing here? What's all the fuss about? What?
You must excuse my sister. She's a little deaf. In fact, sometimes quite deaf. They want to know if they can stay here for the night. Shelter. They've been caught in the storm.
Of course they can't stay. We can't have them here.
But we only just
But
managed
it's
to get...
pouring down in torrents.
Go on.
You see, there's a landslide. Half the mountain seems to be crumbling. It only just missed us. The road's blocked behind us, and I'm pretty sure it's blocked in front as well. We hate to intrude, but what else can we do?
You see, there isn't anywhere else we can go. Even the road below is underwater, and for that matter, this place itself may be underwater pretty soon, or even buried.
What's the matter?
Did you hear what he said? There's a landslide and floods. The lake has burst its banks. We're trapped. We're trapped. We've got to go. You hear? We've got to go.
You're afraid, Horace. You're afraid, aren't you? You don't believe in God, and yet you're afraid to die. You've seen his anger in the sky, and you've heard him in the night. And you're afraid. 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 Where's your knocking now? You may well be afraid. Your time will come. But it hasn't come yet. This house is safe. I know it better than you. Morgan! You remember the great storm years ago when we were cut off, and there was a landslide, and floods, and the roads were washed away? Morgan remembers. He means his house is safe, because it's built on rock.
You will have to stay here. The misfortune is yours, not ours.
No beds. They can't have beds.
As my sister hints, there are, I'm afraid, no beds.
That's quite all right. If we can just sit around the fire, that will be fine.
By all means. I'm not very sure that I want to go to bed myself tonight. Morgan, attend to the fire.
Is there any place I can put the car out of the rain?
There are some stables round the corner to the right. Morgan will show you.
Thanks very much.
I'll come along and get the bag.
Right.
No beds. You can't have beds.
What a storm! We're well out of it. Well, I hope you're right, though. This house gives me the creeps, not to mention its inmates.
Well, it's better than driving along roads that aren't there. At least there's a roof and a fire here.
Now, Mr. Penderell, do you think that you could join me in a drink?
Mr. Fem, I honestly believe I could join you in a drink.
It's only gin, you know. Only gin. I like gin. Mrs. Waverton?
Thanks very much.
Mr. Penderell, I will give you a toast that you will not appreciate, being young. I give you illusion.
Illusion? Huh. I'm precisely the right age for that toast, Mr. Fem.
Oh, I presume you are one of the gentlemen slightly, shall we say, battered by the war.
Correct, Mr. Fem. War generation slightly soiled, a study in the bittersweet, the man with the twisted smile. And this, Mr. Fem, is exceedingly good gin.
Oh, dreadful night. It seems to be getting worse.
Yes, it is pretty bad, but evidently there's no danger here. Your sister was quite definite about that.
But supposing we're cut off, shut up in here.
Well, it would be rather a nuisance for you having us billeted on you like this.
But it's awful. How can you be so calm? You don't seem to understand. We may be cut off. Shut up in this house. I'm afraid I'm rather nervous. I am rather a nervous man. But the fact is that Morgan is an uncivilized brute. Sometimes he drinks heavily. A night like this would set him going, and once he's drunk, he's rather dangerous. I don't wish to alarm you, Mrs. Waverton, but I don't quite know what we should do.
Well, I know what I'm going to do. That is, if Miss Fenn will let me.
What?
I'm dreadfully wet, and I would be so glad if I could go and change my clothes.
What?
I wondered if I might change my things.
You look wet. You better go and change your things.
Oh, thank you. A good idea. Is there a bedroom or something? It's a dreadful night.
What?
I say, it's a dreadful night.
Yes, it's a very old house. Very old.
Very kind of you to let us stay.
What?
I say you're very kind.
Yes, it is a dreadful night. I'm a little dead.
I understand.
Yes. No bridge. I'll have none of this electric light. I won't have it.
Thanks very much. I can manage quite well now.
My sister Rachel had this room once. She died when she was 21. She was a wicked one. Handsome and wild as a hawk. All the young men used to follow her about with her red lips and her big eyes and her white neck. But that didn't save her. She fell off her horse, hunting. Hurt her spine. On this bed she lay, month after month. Many the time I've sat here listening to her screaming.
Oh, dreadful.
She used to cry out to me to kill her, but I'd tell her to turn to the Lord. But she didn't. She was godless to the last.
Well, I'd better change my wet things.
They were all godless here. They used to bring their women here, brazen, lolling creatures in silks and satins. They filled the house with laughter and sin, laughter and sin. And if I ever went down among them, my own father and brothers, they would tell me to go away and pray. They wouldn't tell Rachel to go away and pray. And I prayed and left them with their lustful red and white women. My father's still alive. He's upstairs. He's very old.
Oh, is he?
He's 102.
That's very old, isn't it?
He's a wicked, blasphemous old man. You're wicked too. Young and handsome, silly and wicked. You think of nothing but your long, straight legs and your white body and how to please your man. You revel in the joys of fleshly love, don't you? That's fine stuff, but it'll rot. That's finer stuff still, but it'll rot too in time.
Don't! How dare you!
Mrs. Waverton. You make it look like a party.
Thank you. You must have thought I was a long time.
Matter of fact, I thought you were quicker than usual.
Oh, I just thought I'd been rather long.
Shut up!
Philip.
Horace, what are you doing? We aren't all heathens.
Oh, I had forgotten my sister's strange tribal habits. The beef will seem less tough when she has invoked a blessing upon it.
Horace Fem, if I can't hear, I can see. You're blaspheming.
On the contrary, my dear Rebecca, I was merely telling your wondering guests that you were about to thank your gods for their bounty.
That'll do. I know your mocking, lying tongue.
To thank them for the health and prosperity and happiness granted to this family, for its years of peace and plenty. To thank them for having created Rebecca Fem and Roderick Fem and so... Stop!
Bless thou, Lord, visit the house, may they reprove a wholesome healing remedy for mankind. Amen.
Have a potato.
Thank you.
Well, this is a storm and a half.
Yes, isn't it?
Have a potato.
Thank you. I should love a potato. Vinegar, Miss Fem?
It's simply coming down in bucketfuls outside.
Thank you, Mrs. Waverton. That's the phrase I've been searching for all evening. No, no pickled onions, thank you.
Those lights, they gave me quite a start. I suppose it's a storm.
On the contrary, we make our own electric light here, and we are not very good at it. Pray don't be alarmed if they go out altogether.
There's someone outside.
They can't come in.
But surely they must come in. It's probably dangerous out there now.
They're probably half drowned. You know, really, we oughtn't to keep them waiting.
No, I'm afraid we shall have to let them in. Morgan, open the door.
Come on then, Morgan. Let them in.
I thought you were never going to open that door. Why? There must have been a reservoir bust or something. Anyhow, before we knew where we were, something had fallen down and smashed the car in. It's a wonder it didn't smash us. Incidentally,
This house will probably be washed away any minute. Hi. Oh, look at that. Why. Oh, that's a grand fire. I'm sorry to barge in on you like this, but needs must when the devil drives. Well, who's the owner here?
My sister is the owner, Miss Fem.
How do you do, Miss Fem? My name is Porterhouse. Sir William Porterhouse. And this lady is Miss Gladys Duquesne, a friend of mine.
Glad to know you. Nice weather for ducks.
Allow me to introduce you. This is Mrs. Waverton,
How do you do?
Mr. Penderell,
How do you do, Sir William?
and Mr. Waverton,
How do you do?
Sir William Porterhouse.
How do you do? I've never seen such a night in all my born natural. I tell you, it's coming down in bucketfuls. Pretty well soaked we were, I don't mind telling you. I shouldn't be surprised if we caught our death.
Yeah, you'd better not put those wet shoes on again, or as Sir William points out, you'll probably catch your death. Here you are. These may not be exactly your size, but at least they're dry.
Thanks, they'll do fine. Whee! Are you fond of opera, Mr. Marjoribanks?
Come and have something to eat.
Oh, now you're talking.
Morgan, bring up some chairs.
Oh, roast beef. There's nothing like roast beef when a man's hungry. Oh, the roast beef of old England. How does that go? Do you remember that, Mr. Waverton, or was that before your time?
Penderell's our song expert.
Oh, so you're musical, are you? Well, I've got a bit of an ear myself.
Have a potato. Morgan, bring a glass of water for Sir William.
Oh, thanks very much. Take ourselves, for instance. Here we are, 6 people sitting around, and we've been talking now for nearly 2 hours. What do we know about each other? Not a thing.
How reassuring.
I agree with Sir William. At best, we only make guesses.
If you were a woman, you wouldn't talk about only guesses.
Ah, the famous old feminine intuition. Does it ever tell you which horse is going to win the Derby?
No, but it tells me quite a lot about you.
I wonder, Mrs. Waverton, whether it happens to tell you that I am wanted by the police.
I know, Mr. Fem. It tells me nothing so romantic.
After all, can you conceive of anybody living in a house like this if they didn't...
Here we go. The say holiday. Yuletide. Yuletide Pride. How about that one?
If we're gonna pick a holiday, pick Yule.
Yes. Yeah. Well, anyway, the season is an Americanized version of this anyway.
Exactly.
Especially with all the animated cartoon characters, and as we were talking about Rudolph earlier, I don't know if they got down the line of Santa Claus is coming to town or Shiny New Year and all those they want to.
Well, what are your guys' favorite Christmas movies? If you had to pick one, Yule movies.
The Fire and Ice
Oh,
Meisner
yeah,
Brothers.
Meisner.
Meisner, those ones.
Yeah, isn't that Shiny New Year? Rudolph Shiny New Year? It's like
It's something like that. Yeah, I think that's it.
I have to keep up. I always
I
liked
think
all
that's
those.
what it is, actually.
Yeah. That one was really some fun songs and everything. Great for when you were a kid.
I was just reminded, because there's a marathon going on, that Gremlins is a fantastic Christmas horror movie.
As well as Die Hard.
I know it is, but Gremlins is a good one. I always like that.
Yes, and speaking of Christmas movies, of course, The Christmas Story was the sleeper that came across. That was, I don't know if I'd say that's my favorite. It's definitely just a great movie, but unfortunately, A young man found out just
Yeah, I was
recently in
gonna say
Racine
that.
that your tongue will stick to the metal pole. Please don't try this on the playground. And I was like, before I even read the article, I commented on it. I said, I bet it was a triple dog dare. And then I thought maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then when I the article to see the story, they from the
it's
Christmas
fantastic.
story. So I don't know how the kid felt. That actually happened to my cousin when she was young.
I did that once.
Mm-hmm. Did it stick?
It stuck.
And
My
did you
mom
get some
went to.
A person that hasn't
Learned it
gone
the
on a
hard
freaking
way.
cold pole.
I had to try it for myself.
If you're hanging out with Mr. Freeze, I suppose. Wow, here, that's right. That's why we only take one take on this show.
Right.
Okay, yes, Boris Karloff buried in some makeup here, and I guess the idea was he really wanted to make Gloria Stewart look like a white flame in the movie, and the whole cinematography seems very much like it's in candlelight and brightly lit.
I like that. I like that ambient light effect, and it's like especially when you make women seem, ethereal.
And of course, yes, James Whale.
Huge crowd of people who go to these events.
That sounds fantastic. We need more of that going on here in
We
Kenosha.
do. We need more of those. But it sounds like there's a theater that's trying to do stuff like that. Sounds like there's a theater here
There
in town.
might be something happening. There might be something.
Yes.
Otherwise, we'll have to make it happen ourselves.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
We got a projector. We can do movies.
We do have projectors. We do.
But anyway, some special things coming up, announcements coming up. Also, if you want to participate in our Yuletide shows, that would be one for the 25th, and then, of course, for the New Year's show. Come on down. We'll see. Christmas is also sort of a Crimson Theater anniversary party. 18th season, which seems crazy. But last week they might have got to see a little bit of the Godzilla versus the Smog Monster from 2003.
Fantastic flashbacks.
Yeah, that was a fantastic fight. I think that was back in the day that when I really raked people over the coals and to call them out on. That was before we had Facebook,
Oh, yes.
Apparently I'm headed for Satan's dwelling, according to some people out there.
Better.
Keep the powder dry. Anyway, get right back into it now. That's right, the Old Dark House starring Boris Karloff on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater.
Well, there's no accounting for tastes,
No. Miss Duquesne,
Yes?
what does your intuition tell you about me?
Quite a lot.
That frightens me a good deal.
What does it tell you?
It tells me... Well, it's not very interesting anyway.
Why, yes, it is. Let's have it.
Well, it sounds silly, but I think he doesn't quite fit into these times. You know, factories and cheap advertising, money grubbing, and... Well, what I mean is, Bill here's all right with these things, but they make Mr. Pendrell a kind of fish out of water.
You should be flattered, Mr. Pendrell. No, I'm not flattered. You see, I've not much sympathy with fish out of water, although I happen to be one myself. My trouble is I don't think enough things are worthwhile. Now, Sir William here would put tremendous energy into anything to make even a few pounds. Now, I don't think it's worth it.
No doubt you'll think I'm very pathetic, my young friend, but maybe I can see through things a bit further than you suppose. That was a very fine speech of yours, but I know, as well as everybody else here, that you're really only getting at me.
Well, honestly, I wasn't doing anything of the kind. I envy you. I admire you.
Oh, yes, you envy me, all right, but you don't admire me. Well, I don't admire myself so much. I know that money-making isn't everything, but let me tell you something. I'm a young man, see? Married to a Manchester girl, pretty as paint. The only thing in the world I care about. Well, she dies. It's this way. My directors give a party. They ask us. Red letter day for us, I can tell you. I buy me first dress suit, and Lucy has a new frock. A cotton frock. It seems that Lucy didn't go too well at that party, especially with the women. They snubbed her. Nothing definite, you know. Just didn't think the cotton frock was good enough. Well, Lucy worries about it. Gets into her head that she's going to hold me back. Well, you may not believe it, but I know that's what killed her. That's what started me making money. I swore I'd smash those fellas and their wives who wouldn't give my Lucy a kind word. And I have smashed them, at least most of them. Once you've started making money, it's hard to stop. Especially if you're like me. There isn't much else you're good at. But what Gladys here has to be superior about, I don't know, Miss Duquesne. Why don't you tell him your real name?
My real name is Perkins.
And a very nice name, too.
I may not be this and I may not be that, but you don't catch me pretending to be what I'm not.
I think I'm finding you a little bit offensive.
That's all right, Mr. Pendrell. I can take care of myself. At least if I can't by now, I never will be able to. I wasn't trying to put anything across you, Bill. I don't pretend to be what I'm not either. I'm not as dumb as that. These people here know a chorus girl when they see one. And incidentally, not a very good chorus girl at that. If I were better at my job, I probably wouldn't be weekending with you. No, I take that back. I probably would. You're nice enough. We get on, but...
Morgan's at the bottle again. I knew he'd be getting game tonight. Where'd he get it from?
He didn't get it from me. Can't you stop him?
He's in the kitchen now, drunk. Quite drunk.
Who's Morgan? Is he the fellow that waited on us at table?
Yes. Morgan is the butler.
Looks to me as if he could do with a shave.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Well, have you come over to help me gaze upon the wrath of God?
No. I came to say thank you for trying to take my part just now.
Charmed, I'm sure, Mr. King.
Perkins to you.
Nice Perkins.
I say, I'd mortgage the old homestead for a drink.
So would I. And we'll have one. I've got some whiskey in the car. I've forgotten all about it. You stay here and I'll go and get it.
No, I'll come with you.
You better stay here under cover. The car's in the stables and you get soaked.
All right, don't be long.
I was just coming.
I thought I'd come to fetch you.
Hey, what's the matter? What's happened?
Nothing. Nothing really. Got a bit scared, that's all. Somebody slammed the door in my face.
Probably the wind.
No, it wasn't. I know wind when I see it. It doesn't sound much, but, well, you know, it gave me a bit of a turn.
Yes, I bet it did. Here, what you want to drink of this?
Thanks. I feel a bit more human now.
This certainly is a benighted household.
You're right, it is.
Look at those. Come on, take them off. I seem to spend most of the evening changing your shoes.
You ought to be a nursery maid.
Yes, except that the best nursery maids don't drink whiskey out of the bottle.
Oh. Storm's just as bad as better, isn't it?
Worse.
That's done it. The light's gone out.
I suppose they'll stay out this time. Now we shall be miserable all the evening.
That's all right. Surely there's some candles somewhere, aren't there?
Can I do anything about the lights, Miss Fenn?
No, nobody understands our lights except Morgan. And as an electrician, Morgan is temporarily disqualified.
You haven't got a lamp by any chance, have you?
No, we haven't got a lamp.
What did they say?
Nothing important.
No, not important. As haven't I heard that time? They want a lamp. Give them a large one. There's oil in it. We used it the last time the lights went wrong. Go on, Horace. You know the one.
I don't remember where it is. Suppose you get it, Rebecca.
It's too big for me. If you don't know where it is, I'll tell you. You know as well as I do. It's on the top landing on the little table. Do you know where the top landing is, Horace? At least you might believe there is a top landing, although you do believe in so little. It's up there, Horace. Up there. Next roof.
Yes, of course, I remember. But I think it's a little too heavy for me. I don't think I could carry it down all those stairs.
Why don't you say what you mean, Horace? You mean you're afraid to go up there alone? You go with him. Here, take this. I don't know why I bother myself. Do you all good to sit in the dark?
We'd better go up, hadn't we?
Yes, I suppose we had.
We won't be long. That's all right. Mrs. Waverton will see that I don't get nervy. You better lead the way.
This is my room.
Oh?
There are one or two things that I should very much like for you to see.
I should like to very much, but you must show me some other time. We've got to get that lamp.
Yes. Listen, why should we bother about the lamp? Let us wait here for a few minutes and then go back and say that we couldn't find it, or that it's broken.
I can't see the point.
Yes, but why should we trouble about the lamp if we don't want to?
But we said we'd get it, so why shouldn't we get it?
Yes, but why should we if we don't want to, and I don't want to?
But this is absurd. Did you hear that?
I did hear something.
What was it?
It must have been Morgan. He's drunk, you know. He's probably making a disturbance downstairs in the kitchen.
I thought that noise came from upstairs. Anyway, what about this lamp?
I wondered whether you'd excuse me from coming with you. I'm not very strong. There are rather a lot of stairs. I really should have told you before, but the vanity of age, you know. You'll find it on a little table at the end of the landing, 2 floors above.
I suppose it's not too heavy for me to carry.
Oh, no, not at all. It's quite light, really.
I see.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
can't.
Go and shut what?
The rain's pouring and the flood's rising. The room will be drenched if you don't come quickly.
She means the window in her room. I'm afraid I opened it.
Go on. You opened it. You can shut it.
That's all right, Miss Firma. I'll come and shut it.
Is he dead?
No, you can see him breathing from here. He's only stunned. He'll be conscious in a minute, though he'll probably fall asleep again. He's very drunk.
Oh, Philip, this is an awful house.
It isn't very nice, is it? Listen, Margaret. Something happened upstairs just now.
Oh, Philip, not something else horrible.
No, this was nothing horrible. It was a voice calling from behind a door. A tiny voice, rather like a child's. I think I ought to go and see what it is. You'll have to come with me. I'm not going to leave you alone again. He'll be all right. Take my hand, darling.
Oh, Philip.
What is it? Sit down here a minute, darling.
Thanks.
Well, what happened then?
Well, then the war ended.
What about the girl?
Oh, the girl I left behind me?
The girl you were in love with?
Why, she got married, Gladys.
What a beast.
No, on the contrary, a lady of rather good judgment. But now let's talk about you for a bit.
I know what you're going to say. You're going to ask me about Bill Porterhouse.
Clever, Miss Perkins.
I don't mind telling you. I'd rather like to. Bill's all right, really. Of course, I don't love him. And of course, he gives me money. Oh, not very much. Just enough to keep me going. You probably won't believe me, but Bill doesn't... He doesn't expect anything. Do you know what I mean by anything?
Yes, I know what you mean by anything.
He likes people to think he's ever so gay. You see, for all his money, he's a bit lonely.
Yes, I spotted that when he told us the story of the cotton dress. I think he's in love with that little dead wife still.
I'm sure he is. I suppose that's why he only wants me, well, for company. He likes to sit on my bed at night and boast to me about the things he's done during the day.
Well, that's harmless enough.
Mind you, I'm not pretending to be any better than I am.
You're a nice creature, aren't you?
I like you. Awfully.
And I you.
What are you thinking of?
You may not be very pleased.
Risk it.
I was thinking I'd like to pretend that I was your lover. And that you were mine, Gladys, body and soul. I'd like to take you in my arms and hold you and press you to me very gently, very tight.
I'd like it too.
Would you, Gladys Perkins? Why then, let's pretend.
Listen. Gladys Perkins has an idea. I think she must have gone mad. She wants to live with you. I'm just flinging myself at your head. I've got a crazy idea that I might help you to be a useful person.
Darling Perkins.
Do you think I'm mad?
Quite mad, my darling. And thank God for it.
Well, what you say?
That's what I say, Perkins, darling. But I've got a better idea than yours. An improvement on it.
What is it?
Well, it's just this. No, I won't tell you here. There's magic here. I'll tell you later on in the house, perhaps even in the cold light of morning.
Tell me now.
Come on, let's go back to the house.
No, let's stay here.
You're cold.
No. It's just the idea of going back to that house that made me shiver. I've got a funny feeling something dreadful might happen to us if we go back to that house.
Perkins, you've my strong right arm, haven't you?
All right. Come on.
No, you can't put on those wet shoes. I'm going to try to carry you.
I'm a devil of a weight.
Well, if you're too heavy for me, I shall drop you in the mud and go on alone. I went out to the car to get a drink.
And I went with him.
She got her feet wet.
Oh, she got her feet wet.
Yes, she got her feet wet. Well, what the devil's been happening here?
I don't know what the devil's been happening here, or anywhere else. I don't know what's been happening anywhere. I went into the old girl's room to close a window and came back and found this.
Well, where are all the others?
I don't know, no more than you. Mr. Waverton went upstairs with Thingamytight to fetch a lamp. I suppose his wife joined him. I've been asleep. So you got your feet wet?
Yes, Bill. And that wasn't all.
Yes, I didn't suppose it was.
I don't quite know how you'll take this, but... Well, I've got to get it off my chest.
Come on, let's have it.
I've fallen in love, Bill.
Oh, you have you? With him?
Yes, with him.
Darned fool.
Probably. But we don't choose these things.
Has he got any money?
Not a penny.
But you're going off with him?
Yes, Bill. Are you angry?
I think you're a lunatic. But I'm not angry.
He took it pretty well, didn't he, Perkins?
I told you.
Bill's all right.
He is indeed.
Wonder where the others can be.
Listen, Bill, she hasn't told you everything.
Here you go, Ghoulies. Oh, boy. Here we are once again in the kind of grunts through it, but, very interesting if you're really going to kind of study the birth of the horror film. Of course, that goes back to the silent movies, but this is early days in the Universal catalog. So, very cool stuff. Very cool.
Very cool.
Would make very good Christmas presents.
Stuff, or it's just like old classic horror films. Ooh, that's a good plan.
That's a good idea.
I just recently watched the Mummy's Curse with Lon Chaney.
Oh.
And I was trying to pin it down because, of course, there was a plethora of mummy movies with Lon Chaney made, kind of directed by a guy that kind of did westerns. So the Mummy's kind of just like in the modern America, and those all kind of ran together to me a little bit in my memory of them as far as how the script worked. But there's a young lady, and I should have her name available, but I wasn't planning on. Comes out of the swamp that's all dried up and her hands covered. I remember when I was a kid, that was my favorite mummy movie. And she definitely, we will make sure she's going to be recognized for our next show. I'm going to do a little bit on her because she just had that part in that movie. But really, as far as a universal female, she's the only one besides the Bride of Frankenstein. Well, I guess Dracula's Daughter. Which James Whale was supposed to direct Dracula's Daughter. Have you seen Dracula's Daughter?
Oh, yes.
Okay, there's a lot of the trappings that might have been in the Whale movie, but he would have took it over, and censors and everything stopped that from happening.
Yeah.
And we missed out. I mean, we got the Bride of Frankenstein, but God only knows what Dracula's Daughter. You should know a little bit about her. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and here's the other kicker: the Whale version was supposed to have Bela Lugosi in it as well. So they would have revived Dracula.
Oh, that would have been fantastic.
Back in the time.
But I do have to say that the version we do have is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
I got it on one of those 100 vampire movie sets that you can find. But I thought it was one of my favorites.
Absolutely. All those Universal films. And that the very last of that first run from the early 30s to the mid 30s with Universal. Then Carl Laemmle, he lost the studio because they gambled on pictures that didn't work out, and so they decided, oh wait, we've got these catalog of monsters, and brought it all back.
Right.
And so Koroloff did, of course, he did Son of Frankenstein the very last time he played him, kind of, at least for a Universal film. And then they had Lon Chaney do it, and then Bela Lugosi and Glenn Strange, everybody played the monster down the line. I thought Chaney's, there were some real attempts hard in the Ghost of Frankenstein to make Lon Chaney look like, they really wanted to make him look like, what's that?
I heard something.
Anyway, they were really trying to make him look like Boris Karloff in certain scenes. So, fantastic stuff here. Anyway, this is James Whale. It's a real treat. It's a classic. Everybody in the horror business should know James Whale.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get right back into it. The Old Dark House on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater. What's that noise?
Punchy? Why not? Because she doesn't know everything herself. We're going to be married. Oh, yeah. At least if she'll have me. I'm going to ask her tomorrow, in the cold light of morning. Will you come to the wedding? I think you're off your head. Do you?
No, I don't. I think it's probably the best day's work you've ever done in your life.
Ah, Bill. Bill.
Who told you you could call me Bill?
Well, you try and stop me.
Now, look here, come and make yourself useful and put this table on its feet. That's no way to treat roast beef.
Miss Perkins, tend the roast beef.
Tend it yourself.
Sure you feel better?
Yes, I'm all right.
Well, let's go on. this is the door.
Who are you?
I'm Mrs. Waverton. This is my husband. Are you Sir Roderick Fenn? We came in because we thought we heard you calling. Can we get you anything? Can you take it yourself or shall I give it to you?
I can take it myself. Thank you. What was that noise? Was it Morgan?
Yes.
Morgan is a savage. I must apologize. But we have to keep him here. You shouldn't have come here.
I'm very sorry, but really we couldn't help it.
Oh, I don't mean that. I was never inhospitable. Never. This house was always filled with guests once upon a time. When you came, what did they tell you?
Why, they told us you were an invalid.
Was that all?
Yes.
You've seen my son Horace and his sister Rebecca
Yes.
and Morgan. I would like to tell you all about it, but there may not be time. You see, when you're as old as I am, at any minute you may just die.
Oh, please don't talk if it tires you.
This is an unlucky house. 2 of my children died when they were 20. And then other things happened. Madness came. We are all touched with it a little, you see. Except me. At least I don't think I am.
Would you like to go to sleep now?
No, not just yet. You see, it may be...
It may be what?
dangerous.
You mean Morgan?
No, not Morgan. I mean from my eldest son, Saul.
Saul?
They didn't tell you about Saul.
No, they didn't.
Saul is the worst, you know. We have to watch him. Because, you see, he just wants to destroy, to kill. Poor Saul.
Where is he?
I know where he is. He's upstairs behind that bolted door, isn't he?
Yes, locked in. Saul is why we have to keep Morgan.
But if he did get out?
Saul quite certainly would set fire to the house. He tried to once before. He wanted, he said, to make this house a burnt offering.
But isn't he safely locked in?
Yes. But you see, if Morgan is bad, I think he might open the door.
Philip, wonder if he's come too.
Wait here. I'll go down and look at him.
He's gone upstairs. I heard him. He's going to let Saul out. Wait for him downstairs and kill him.
What are we to do? Can't we stay in here?
No, supposing he set fire to the place. Come on.
But what about Sir Roderick?
We must lock the door. Sir Roderick, I'm going to lock you in.
He's asleep.
What is it? Listen, there's a madman upstairs. Morgan's let him out and he's dangerous. We've got to do something.
Good gosh, where are they?
Upstairs, but they may come down any minute.
That's all right, my dear.
I knew. I felt something dreadful was going to happen.
Hadn't we better get out of the way?
No, we can't do that. He might set fire to the place. He's tried it once before.
Well, let him. Let the rotten old place burn. I wish it would.
That's all right, but what about the famous?
What is it?
Your brother's out of his room.
What? Saul?
Look.
Here, get back.
Take him back, Morgan. You hear me? Take him back. Sins of the fathers, the sins of the fathers.
Come on, you. Come into my room. No, I'm going to stay here. Then stay there.
There's going to be trouble. Come on, come in here.
No, I don't want to be shut up. I'd rather stay.
Gladys, for heaven's sake, come in here, Mark.
Oh, no. All right.
Wait a minute. You like this?
Oh, I love him so. I just love him.
Please, please don't touch me. Oh, what is it? Listen, don't put me back. Don't let them put me back. I'm not mad. I swear before heaven I'm not mad. It's just that they've locked me up here. They're all wicked.
Why should they lock you up?
They're frightened of me. I know something about them. Years ago, they killed their sister Rachel. But I wouldn't tell. I promised I'd never tell.
And they've kept you here all that time for that?
And Morgan, I tell you, he's the devil. Morgan beats me. Don't leave me. Stay with me.
Well, that's all right. You sit here and wait. I'll be back.
Hi, Ghoulies. Here we are with Adolfo, who we all know from Days of the Dead horror convention. But you live in the area now.
I do.
And you now work for our very own Safe Harbor Humane Society, right?
I do.
Is that the actual title now?
Yeah, the Safe Harbor Humane Society. I'm actually their volunteer coordinator and foster coordinator. So I'm wearing a couple of different hats for the nonprofit organization. With me today is Lil. We're gonna say hi to Lil. She's got a cone of shame going on because she's
cone of shame.
She's on the mend, but
Okay.
we're hoping to have her a little better soon. I've actually been taking care of Lil since she was 4 weeks old. She's about 3 months now. Her other siblings, Tommy, Chucky, and Phil, who were part of our Rugrats group, got adopted. And Lil just when she heals up a little better, hopefully in the next week or two, we'll be able to put her up for adoption as well.
Okay. Very good. Well, she might be a very famous cat after this broadcast.
She's very famous.
After all, we have millions of people across Kenosha watching and elsewhere. But that's really great, and we've definitely had a lot of new people move in the area, and it's been a positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I moved to Kenosha about 7 years ago myself, 6 years ago, and
I guess it has been that long already.
Yeah, it's been a while. But it's been fun to see the city grow and new things come in. It's been sad to see a few of them go, like Pazzo downtown, which I really enjoyed. But just to see more buildings coming up and more independent businesses flourishing and stuff like that. So
there's something coming. They're restoring that hotel now, which I never thought I'd see.
Yeah.
And they also there's another one being built in another building, so something's coming.
Yeah. But as far as Lil here, I'm currently fostering her, like I said. As the foster coordinator, what we do is when we get stray cats or kittens, every now and then puppies, but usually it's cats or kittens, in the summer as things warm up, cats tend to procreate a little bit more, and we'll get dozens of kittens a day, and until they reach the age of 8 weeks and about 2 pounds in weight, they're not ready to be spayed or neutered. So what we'll do is we'll place them in a temporary foster home so that they can develop their immune systems, get healthy, be out of a shelter. Be out of a shelter environment where they may get sick, and then when they're ready to be fixed, we go ahead and set them up with a surgery and put them up for adoption.
There you go. I couldn't foster. I couldn't give it up.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges of fostering. But I do know some fosters, when they see like kind of all that it takes to take care of so many cats. And you have cats, you know how it goes. I think they understand the responsibility that it takes. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, how do you not go home with 35 cats, a week? And just seeing how much work goes into them, it would be unfair for them to
my black
to do
one,
that.
who is named Halloween, is not much bigger than that, and she's 7
wow.
years old.
Wow.
So it's like a constant constant kittenness going on.
That's fun. Yeah, so, we're always looking for fosters. We're always looking for volunteers. I do the volunteer coordination for Safe Harbor. Some of the things that we rely on volunteers to help us with, walking our dog, socializing with cats. Socializing involves just kind of petting them, interacting with them. People often ask me, like, seriously, like, I just pet cats and that's useful to you? But we get cats in all the time that are sometimes feral, sometimes fearful, have different different degrees of sociability, and so getting them used to interacting with people makes them more adoptable, makes them more friendly. When I first got Lil, she was very fearful and kind of hid a lot, but as you can see now, she's anything but.
Right.
We interact with them daily, but it's usually to give vaccines, to give medicine. It's one big trip to the
No,
doctor.
it's a lot of work over there. And we need that.
Nobody likes the doctors, so.
Once again, where is the Safe Harbor?
Safe Harbor Humane Society. It's right off of 75, across from the Ocean Spray Building, next to Barth Storage. You can check us out at safeharborhumane.org. Hi, and you can fill out applications to volunteer, foster, adopt,
or
see our animals online, or just pet a kitty. Come by, pet a kitty, give them some love. We have dogs, we have rabbits. Hi, she's just loving it. But yeah, just come down and check us out. And you know, like I said, we're always looking for volunteers, for people to help us out. Donations, food,
cat food,
linens,
kitten food's a big thing.
Kitten food is
obviously
a huge thing. Even office supplies,
Blankets.
blankets, towels, washcloths. We'll use any of it. We'll get creative.
Very good. I hope everybody does that.
Yeah. I mean, as the shelter, we take 80% of our revenue, our overhead to run the shelter from donations. 20% of it comes from the county and our contract with Taking in Strays. So we definitely exist by the will and generosity of the public. So, you know, always looking for help, never turning it down.
All right, that sounds great.
Thank you.
The door's locked. Miss Finn must have locked it.
It's locked, is it?
Yes, it is.
I'm glad. Then you can't leave me.
Listen, we've got to help the others with Morgan. Isn't there some way of getting through?
No, no way.
But there must be a back entrance into the house.
Stop! I want to tell you a story. Who's in there?
Nobody.
Friends of yours?
I tell you, nobody.
Shall we invite them out?
You were going to tell me something.
Yes, so I was.
Won't you tell me that story?
Yes. Shall we sit down?
Yes. Let's.
Who's in that cupboard?
Nobody. Tell me what you were going to say to me.
Are you interested in flame?
Why, yes, I am, rather.
I've made a study of flame.
Have you? Well, that must be very interesting.
I know things about flames that nobody else in the world knows.
Well, won't you tell me? I'd like very much to know.
Why should I tell you? You wouldn't tell me who is in that cupboard?
But I did tell you. Besides, you know it. It isn't fair to make me curious and then just not say anything.
You'd like me to tell you all about fire, would you?
Yes, I wish you would.
Well, then, first of all, I've learned that flames are really knives. They're cold, my friend. Sharp and cold as snow. They burn like ice.
Oh, that certainly is very, very interesting. So they're really like knives, are they? Well, do go on. Tell me what else you found out.
Oh, a lot of things. My friend, sit down. So you thought you could cheat me, did you? You thought you could leave me sitting here and I wouldn't notice. But you see, I am a clever man also. That is why we understand one another. That is why you understood so quickly that I wanted to kill you. We understand each other so well, don't we, my friend?
Yes, indeed we do. From the start, somehow I liked you, and I thought you liked me.
Like you, my friend, I love you. Did you know my name is Saul? Saul, my friend. And Saul loved David.
Yes, indeed he did.
But Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with him and was departed from Saul. And it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played upon the harp with his hand, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand, and Saul cast the javelin. And he said, I will smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice, my friend. For the third time, you must be careful.
Listen, I'm your friend. I'm on your side. It's silly to lose me. If you lose me... Look, there's Morgan. He's come for you. Morgan!
Stop! Don't move!
Let me alone, do you hear? I've got to go to Pendrell. He's hurt. Oh, how can I make you understand? He's hurt. I've got to look after him and the other man, too. Saul! They're both hurt.
Are you all right, Margaret?
Yes, I'm all right, darling.
Gladys. It's all right. Come on now. You feeling better?
Yes. I'm not so bad.
What happened to you?
That Bruce Morgan, he hit her.
Come on.
I'm all right now. Where's Pendrell? I've got to look after him.
You better not go over there. Come with me.
He's alive!
What?
He's alive, I tell you! He's alive!
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Waverton. Good morning.
The floods have subsided considerably.
Thank heaven for that.
I think it will be possible for you to send for an ambulance now.
You mean we can go?
Yes, I'm sure we can go now. Come on, darling. You're going to stay here with Gladys, aren't you?
I am. Don't be long.
We won't. We'll be as quick as we can.
Goodbye. 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 So happy to have met you.
So I'm really dead and gone to heaven.
No, it's morning, and we've only just left hell behind.
Morning?
Yes, cold light of day. Wasn't there something you were going to tell me in the cold light of day?
Come to think of it, there was. Perkins, will you marry me?
Ghoulies, the old dark house. Yes, you could consider that an early Yuletide present there.
Yeah.
A Lovecraft story. What was that called? There's one about they're talking about he's coming home in Yuletide. There was a story. I can't remember what that was called. Sort of a Festivus theme. So interesting though. Old dark house. That even some elements of a Rocky Horror Picture Show, which well, we just did a show. We did like our best show at Public Brewing last Saturday.
Oh, I wanted to go to that one
the
so
band,
badly.
The Material Girls were there.
They looked fabulous.
And they had this, you know, it was crazy because they had. He looked like Rocky from Rocky Horror, but he was like wearing the lab coat that Tim Curry had.
Oh.
And they were a great band. Check them out, the Material Girls. Just was a great time. Public Brewing. It was a great venue, and it was packed, and the reception was probably our best reception I've gotten in Kenosha in a long time.
Fantastic. That's very good to hear.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a good year. Roosevelt Dolls are going to be going back in studio and recording some stuff, and there's a lot of progression.
A lot has happened with you guys since this lineup has gotten together. You guys seem to be moving pretty quickly with all of your different really awesome
It's moving
ideas.
forward with a styles and stuff, so we got to keep that going. Of course, oh, by the way, if you're watching on Saturday night, now that the show is over, head on over to the port. The Roosevelt Dolls are just about ready to start.
That's right.
Yeah, I got to get over there. I'm just running out of time here.
Better make it
we
quick.
gotta hurry up.
Oh, they'll have to wait.
Yeah, they'll wait for you. They kind of have to.
Kind of do. Good things ahead, though. And we'll see. Probably some other surprises. Again, we are going to be doing our holiday Christmas show, Yuletide, whatever you want to call it. The usual shtick we pull. And that will be 2 shows that you might want to visit with us. And it'll be, I guess, a Slash Crimson Theater anniversary party.
Yay!
And, of course, the holiday explosion.
Yes. All the holidays. Celebrate them all.
Bring them all down. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, have
of course,
second Halloween even. It's great.
this is an interesting time. It's a reminiscence time because I actually started carving the castle out of stone back on Thanksgiving of 2001.
Wow.
And as we were preparing, then the first intro was shot before any of the shows.
Right.
The organ intro. And there was a whole different look to the show in the beginning. And I can even remember, though, very well, our first show aired on December 16th, 2001. And the movie was Plan 9 from Outer Space, fitting. The second show that aired the week after that was a Christmas show. And, of course, it was Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. And it was Son of Godzilla for the New Year's. That was the third show that we did. I remember thinking, I just did the third show. How about now, huh?
But you did get such a great guest amongst those early shows when you had Mephisto.
Mephisto, that's relatively new compared
That's
to...
newer?
No,
I thought
compared
that's
to like Count Gordeval being
Oh,
in the
that's
show.
who I meant. Count Gordeval.
Count Gordeval.
Mephisto was later. Count Gordeval was the first one we had. Yeah.
Yep. And that was an interesting show. And Count Gordeval, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with him, he was on in the 70s on Channel 20 in Washington, D.C. He did just about everything on that station, as a lot of the personalities did. But not only was he a horror host, for you people that think Svengoolie was the only one that ever did that, he was also a horror host as well. Count Gordeval, he did his vampire character. But guess what? He was also Bozo the Clown, shocker there in Washington, D.C., as well as a Captain 20, sort of a Spock character that showed kids stuff in the afternoon.
I recently found a horror host who's also, I think, a governor or mayor of his area.
David Lady?
He
was mayor. He's not mayor now.
When I was doing my research recently, I saw one, but I think this was the more recent one.
All the stuff with the vintage masks?
No, this was a more recent one.
Maybe there is a different one.
This was a more recent one.
It's funny how the word horror host and mayor seem to get entwined.
What is that?
We want to invite the mayor, actually, on the Christmas episode.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Make for a great guest.
That would be a blast, yeah. We would find out some of the positive things going on in Kenosha. Heritage House is about to open. I never thought I'd see that happen.
Oh my gosh.
What a great place to
I bet that's going to be quite interesting.
Wonder if we could have a Crimson Theater ball there.
Yes, they're going to have that whole ballroom and everything.
A horror convention there.
Oh, we could have a lot of great things. Plans, maybe.
Anyway, I hope you like the old Dark House. And you can always go on Facebook under Dr. Destruction. Send me a message. Hopefully I won't be facing Lucifer.
We hope not.
Burn in hell, Dr. Destruction. You're going to burn in hell. Can I say something? Make it happen faster or something? You never know. Be careful out there, people. Anyway, you have a horrifying week. We'll see you next time on Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater.
Kenosha Community Media. Kenosha Community Media is serving the greater Kenosha area for over 30 years. Kenosha Community Media is your TV station. You are Kenosha Community Media.
On one college campus, 5 students converge on one class.
Oh, this was a class on Poe, not some sort of psych class.
I figured since it's the weekend, we could get started right away.
Saying this guy's an ass clown.
Where the hell do you think I'm from?
We don't know. You won't tell us.
Focus, people.
So he buried an axe in her skull. He then does what any sane gentleman would do. Walls her up in the basement. You got something to say, Midnight? On that note, go.
People get away with things all the time, right?
Quiet!
It seems that Dr. Lynch has taken an unexpected and indefinite leave of absence.
Reginald Lynch's body was discovered in a forest on the western edge of the campus grounds.
And Sister Mary says, that's a hard one.
I dismembered the corpse and hid it within the floorboards.
Thanks for tuning in to Channel 14, Kenosha Community Television. Remember to tune into my program, Just Talkin', shown right here, Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Channel 14. On the program, we cover community events, talk to nonprofit organizations, and who knows, we may bump into a celebrity now and then. So remember to tune in to Just Talkin' Tuesday and Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. right here on Channel 14.
Late at night, the doctors and the TV crew give them a fright. The movies are cheesy and so's the host. Look out, honey, here's 13 ghosts. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Bill the Monster, Eater. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, please, come on. Crimson Theater, have a horrifying week, coolies. Thanks for coming. Love you, dearest.
Screaming relaxes me so.
monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash.
He did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard